Hello traders, this is Rich from tradesight. This is a look at the market leading stocks via our proprietary scans for the coming session. This is going to be for Tuesday, November 19th, 2013. What we're seeing today is mostly some pretty bearish action here. We're stacked up fairly well, as you can see, in the NASDAQ patch and also elsewhere in the different sectors. The NASDAQ patch is definitely biased to the sell side here, and we've got quite a few deviations. We've got downside VWAP deviations today in Baidu, First Solar, and also Sina, so we're closing well below the VWAPs in those particular names. We've got open close deviations in Sina, Netflix, BlackBerry, and a couple of those are close but not quite there yet. First Solar is getting close. Not too many volume deviations. We've got a volume deviation to the upside in EA, but for the most part pretty bearish action here today as NASDAQ is relatively weak versus the broad market. Take a look at the financials. I want to introduce Huntington Bancorp, HBAN, to the list where that is replacing the ICE. Huntington Bancorp actually has a very, very heavy weighting in the BKX index. Didn't have it in there before. It's just because it's kind of a low price stock, but I think it's nice to have a couple low price stocks in there to work with as well, especially when it's so heavily weighted in the index. So welcome HBAN. Today the financials are definitely stacked up to the downside here. There's no buy indications right now, even with a little bit of time to go on the day. You can see that we've got a variety of different sells here, but I would definitely focus on the ones with the CPS downside conditions. We do have some volume bumps here. We've got one in Bank of America and also a volume bump up in Visa. As far as the open and close of the VWAP deviations, none of them are recording them just yet. Looking at the energy names, mostly weak here. Coal names are pretty weak. BTU's got an open close deviation. Arch, ACI is also fairly weak. And just like the rest of the other sectors, we are skewed to the downside here in the energy names. Moving on to the generals here, it's a little bit lighter. There was definitely relative strength in the overall broad market today, and I think we're seeing that in the scans today. Do have a couple of signals here to keep an eye on, as well as a couple of volume bumps. We've got one in Best Buy and also one in John Deere. Moving on to the housing names, a couple of downside signals. Nothing on the buy side, but nothing's really qualified for a divergence just yet. But we do have Hovnanians more than 2% below the day's open, and it's really dropped down very considerably below the VWAP, so we're going to be having a very, very weak close here. And DHI as well as Lowe's are also pretty weak today. Transport names fairly weak. Couple of signals here. We've got one in Norfolk and one in UPS to the downside. Neither of those signals are on any kind of decent volume. And the commodity patch, a little bit of weakness here today. We've got a camouflage sell signal in potash. That one's pretty weak. Newmont Mining is 2% below the day's open. Mosaic is almost 3% below the day's open, and ABX is considerably weak today, 2% below the day's open. So, for the most part, pretty good weakness here in the commodity patch. So, well, on balance for the day, definitely leaning towards kind of sloppiness tomorrow. We'll have to see how it manifests, whether it's going to be a gap up or just an outright continuation early. But either way, we're going to be not passing on any good shorts that set up. All right, folks. As always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for tradesight.